Well, we're gonna receive our guest right now.
Yes.
So we're gonna put a big round of applause, and we're gonna receive the one, the only Latif Mercado.
What's up?
Can you hear us? Yeah, I can.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh God.
Oh,
We
yay.
promised whoever's on right now. We promised you a show, and we
Okay.
came through. Okay,
Yes.
we almost had to. I didn't want to get Bronx over there with the internet people, but
Yeah, figures I'm gonna be the one to come on right after you guys moved. So, but it's all good. But I realized I was having a problem on this computer as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's
so I hooked up the
crazy.
laptop. So we should be good.
Yeah, no,
We're
we're
good
good.
now.
We
No,
got
now.
steady. We're
Except
nice
my
and
voice. If
clear.
you notice, I'm losing my voice.
I know. I hear
Now he
that.
sounds like Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm like, what the hell happened?
Well, so yeah,
So that's cool. I'm not going
juiced up
anywhere this
today.
weekend,
That's
so
what I
I'm
was gonna
good.
say. We're juiced up to the top.
Exactly. I'm feeling better today too. So
Oh yeah.
I think we're all good.
But it was the pain in the butt, and we usually don't do shows like this with all the buffering.
Yeah,
and
but
everything,
when you go
It's
to
all
a
right.
place, yeah, when you change locations and all that stuff, and then the people at the internet, the service provider, they're like, "We're so sorry, we're so like," they were so apologetic, like they didn't know what to do. I said, "It's okay, it's not your fault." I mean,
Yeah.
So, yeah, we got
Technology. Hey,
we
you
got
hit
up
the
this
reset
morning
button. We
and
do it
there's
again.
boxes in the garage. I said, yo, we got to get the monitors out. We got to get all the screens out. We got to get no. I went
Right.
to that garage and we got everything.
yeah, we got everything.
No, we're good. We're
We're
good.
good now.
So anyway, I didn't know where to begin. Let's talk about the big. I guess how'd you get into freestyle? Like, what was your beginnings?
As you know, I started off with Little Susie. So that was the first artist I started working with. I I started working with her when she was about 5 years old. So I was at her 5th birthday party. I ended up getting a job at 520 Madison Avenue right after high school, and I was working as a maintenance guy, right? And I used to bounce around from building to building, but for some reason I wanted to stay at that building. And it was a good job. I was young, 17, 18 years old. I was making good money, living with mom. I was able to take my money and buy studio equipment, whatever I wanted, right?
Right.
And I was into doing beats. So I remember buying, I used to do the layaways. I used to put layaway. Back then you get a drum machine, it's gonna cost you $600-700. Now you can get the same one for like $50. And I used to go to work with the drum machine in a briefcase. So I used to go to work like used to carry a briefcase. It was weird because I used to wear a maintenance uniform with this briefcase and headphones in it. And they used to have me driving the freight elevator. Our building was 43 stories and it was electric. So I ran the freight for a while and they had an outlet. So I would sit in the corner, pressing the buttons, but there was an outlet. So I was able to plug the drum machine in the outlet, put the headphones, and create beats in the elevator. Because the only time that I really moved it was when workers came in. It wasn't a regular elevator. So when the workers came in, there'll be 36th floor. And I will put my headphones on, hit 36, and just work on the beats until people started asking me, hey, what are you doing? So I started showing them and drum machines were new. People didn't know what they were. And I would let them hear the beats and they were like fascinated. And one of the guys kept telling me, he says, they were engineers. So I was a porter, then you had the engineers, right? They worked in the pipes and that part of the building. They did all that stuff. And they said, oh man, you gotta meet Tony. I'm like, Tony? I said, who's Tony? They said his daughter's a singer. So now all the guys that I'm looking at are like older, losing their hair, they're older guys, right? So I'm picturing Tony, and I'm picturing his daughter might be this older woman, maybe. I was trying to be a rapper. So I was like, okay, I'll meet Tony. So weeks had gone by, and I still didn't meet Tony. He hadn't come my way yet. And then one day, there was another freight elevator on the other side, was the loading dock. They had me drive that one, and I had the drum machine. And he comes up to me, he says, this Tony, he goes, hey man, you're the kid that's doing the beats in the elevator. I said, yeah. He goes, my name is Tony. I'm like, I said, okay. I said, you have a daughter that sings? He goes, yeah. He goes, you mind let me hear what you got. I didn't have my machine. Actually, I had a Walkman. And I let him hold my Walkman. And he took my Walkman and he put it on and he's playing, listening to some of my music, all the demos that I was making at home. And he says, can I hold this for a minute? I said, yeah, sure. And the guy disappeared like all day long. Like I thought he jacked my Walkman. I was kind of pissed off.
Yeah.
I was like, man, finally I see the guy, excuse me, at the end of the day. He gives me the Walkman. He goes, let me show you something. We met in the basement, right, where the locker rooms are. So he took me to his locker room. He opens up his locker, and I see all these newspaper articles of this little girl. It says, a star is born in Brooklyn. It's my party. She was only 3 years old. All the way until her 5th birthday, which was at Studio 54, hosted by the Village People.
Wow.
He says, well, she turns 5. I'm like, so when I saw the pictures, I was like, okay, this is even worse. Before I thought I was dealing with an older guy with an older woman. Excuse me. Instead, now I'm dealing with a guy with a little girl. I'm like, nobody can help me. I want to be a rapper, right? So he invites me over for her party. So I go to Studio 54, and this is the first time I see her perform. She's singing things like a Virgin, What's Love Got to Do with It by Tina Turner, Conga.
Wow.
Wow.
Three big ones. At
At
5,
five?
Gloria.
Yeah,
Wow.
Love Don't Live Here Anymore,
Wow.
the Madonna version, okay? And it blew me away. Blew me away. And so when we got back, to work, we got back to work, I kind of grabbed onto him because at that point I was like, okay, this guy could probably do something for me, So he asks me, he goes, you're right. He goes, have you ever can you write like something for a kid, like a rap for a kid? So I told him, I said, well, I don't really want to write a rap. I said, but I have an idea for a song. I said, I'd like to try that. And I ended up writing a song called Get Up. And it had that feel like Lisa, can you feel the beat within my heart? Da, 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 da. It was called Get Up. And I wrote it myself and I sang it to him. It was the first time I ever wrote a regular song. And he loved it. He says, man, so I said, well, I'll pay for the studio. And I took her to the studio. I actually still have that demo. She won't let me play it for nobody, right? I still have that demo. At that time, I think she was a little time had gone already. So she was a little older. I think she was already like 6 by then. And I ended up taking her into the studio and creating this song. And everybody liked it. She started to perform it. And she used to go on stage. Her mother used to had an outfit that she created for her that said "Get Up" on it. So after we started doing all the clubs. She was doing everything. Studio 54. She was doing the Red Parrot, Palladium, you name it. We were doing it. She was doing them, and I started to open up for her. They let me rap, and I would rap, and I had an opening rap that I would do for her, and it just kept on like that. And so her father started to manage me. He was basically going to be my manager.
Right.
But now we're talking about the 80s. We're talking about 84. And I lived in Jackson Heights,
Yeah,
Queens, cocaine capital of New York City. Bad time for me. My whole career immediately, before I even started, basically went flat. And I just ended up in this whirlwind. And a lot of time passed in between until finally I came home. I went away for a little while and I came home. And when I came home, I didn't know that they would take it. Another song I had written for her at the time. They were taking it into the studio and they're going to put it on her album. And that was the first album that Take Me in Your Arms came out. That was the Love Can't Wait album. It was actually, the album was going to be called Children of the World, which was the name of the song I wrote. That song was also on Star Search, the original Star Search, back with Ed McMahon. That was the first check I ever got. The first $500 I ever made in the music business was from that song on Star Search. Okay. Wow. And but I was in such a shambles that it was taking me time to get back into the groove. And we went in, we did that album, and Take Me in Your Arms blew up. And I remember how we used to try to work the radio sometimes when we all got instructions that whenever they would play the song, everybody that we knew had to call KTU and say, "Hey, what was that song? What was that song that you played?" It was a great song, and everybody got behind it, and the song blew up. And the next thing you know, she started going on the road. And it took a little time. She went on the road for a little while without me until finally her parents said, "Why don't you come on the road?" Remember, I was away. Now they're sending me on the road with their daughter, their little young daughter,
Wow.
At that time, she was already, getting older. I think she was about 14 by then. So I'm talking about a time span there's a lot of stuff that was going on in between. But, those are the bullet points of what was happening. And then I started on the road with her. And that's how everything started from that point on.
Wow.
That was my intro into the business.
Wow. So the music kind of saved you again, too.
Yeah, it saved me. I mean, it was always my passion. It was always something that I wanted to do. And just when everything was happening, and then, I think about it now, I'm like, that could have been a good thing or it could have been a bad thing. Like, had my career been different, had that not happened, had I been at a different level, remember I was trying to be a rapper, would I have been in a totally different genre? So, but, and you don't know these things until you look back. You look back and, you connect the dots and you're like, okay, well, if I wasn't here, this would not have happened and so on,
Well,
So,
it's
so
always perfect timing. Like when things happen, that it happens for a reason, even though some things are bad. Because I went through a whirlwind too with that in that period of time, 84.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh man. And then I moved to LA. So I was in Hollywood, California
Oh boy.
in 86, 87. So forget it. We don't even talk about that.
Yeah, I was away during that time from 86 to 90.
Yeah.
It was
exactly.
gone.
That's about that time. Yeah.
Yeah.
The same exact time frame. So the 80s were crazy. For people don't know, there was just
But even that, you don't know, if that was something that if that saved me, that might have saved me. Who knows? I was doing some craziness, and I lived in a crazy area. Anybody who's raised in Jackson Heights during that time know exactly what I was talking about.
See, I left Jackson Heights in 79.
Oh, so you lived in Jackson Heights?
I went to St. Joan of Arc.
That's right. You did tell me that.
On 82nd Street.
I know exactly. Up on what was that, like 34th Avenue?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I used to go to 145, so I used to have to pass by it all the time.
I think it's 37th or something. Because I lived off of 34th Avenue and 81st Street.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think St. Joan of Arc was on. You know what? It was.
Street. It's on 82nd Street and like
towards the end, going up 35th Avenue.
I'm a Spanish Harlem
35th,
boy.
Yeah, because it was 35th because
it was in the corner. Right. It was in the corner.
And then the church was there and the school, and then after that, the next avenue was 37th, right where the stores were, and then you would go down to Roosevelt to the train station.
Yeah. So, I knew a lot of girls that went to that school.
Oh no!
Yo, Catholic school girls.
I was a Spanish Harlem guy, Barrio Boy, and Bronx.
I know
that was me.
They always talked about the Catholic girls.
I mean, I was born and raised in the Bronx. So I was 11. Then I moved to Jackson Heights. So I'm my whole family's from the Bronx, practically, or Manhattan. So
yeah, but New York was a different time back then. Now,
in the barrio, remember a lot of groups, freestyle groups out there, like had a lot of people in the city. Bad boys.
Yeah.
I mean, those were the breakdancing days. That's how
right, the breakdancing. And I was reading something about freestyle. I don't know how true it is online. That said that the only group predecessor to freestyle was Soul Sonic Force and Afro something or
Africa Bombada.
Yeah, remember they came out with Planet Rock?
Yeah.
I remember they played Planet Rock. I was at USA roller skating on Jackson Heights. You remember USA?
Oh yeah.
I lived there. I used to live there. I was there Wednesday.
I'm sure we crossed paths. Crossed paths many times.
Can you believe that? It's just so weird how we all in the same like genre of music. We lived in the same place, and then our families were just kind of like we were together but not together.
Yeah.
So
the audience know that you guys are related?
No, they don't.
Maybe you should clarify that.
Yeah, we just learned about. We just found this out just the other day.
Yeah, we just found out we're cousins. So I know more his sister. That I used to hang out more with his sister because she used to hang out with my sister. Yep. So that's why it was more connection there and everything like that. But then my sister had mentioned you years ago, but didn't even really think about it. And then when I started looking you up, I go, is this the right person? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, I was like, what? Are you been hiding
Yeah.
him?
Yeah, she comes to a lot. When we were Cali, she came to a lot of the shows.
Yeah.
Me, Angel, and little Susie had Thanksgiving, I think once or twice at their house. Because
Yeah,
we
she
used to
told me
end up
about that.
doing, yeah, we used to end up doing the Thanksgiving shows in California. Because we used to do Montebello.
Okay. But you know what happened?
QC's.
You know what happened? Why I didn't see you is because I left. I was in California 13 years and then I left. So when you
Oh,
went to see her was after I left. So we were talking about the dates and I go, oh my gosh, how can that? I can't believe that. After 13
yeah,
years, I was there. I was in her house every Christmas, every New
yeah.
Year's,
That's how it
every
happens.
weekend.
That's how
I
it happens.
leave. And that's when you started coming down.
I lived with her mom. I lived with her mom for about a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because we left Jackson Heights. My mother was like, let's go. Let's just go. So it was just me and her. And we went to Florida. We lived there for about 11 months. She was trying to do different things. She was trying to get me out of the city, is what she was trying to
Right.
do. I was like 14 years old. And then from there, we tried Florida. I couldn't do it. We went to Mississippi. I really couldn't do that because we had family there. Then we went to Puerto Rico. My aunt's out there. So we went out to Puerto Rico. I tried to go to school there. First, they tried to put me in a private school. It was all rich kids. You know, Titi FIFA. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
Okay. So, very wealthy. And so yeah, beautiful home in a condominium overlooking the ocean, Puerto Rico. It was great. And but I didn't want to stay there. And I purposely failed the test to get into the private school, right? However, I would have failed anyway, honestly, right? So, but I failed. I didn't want to be there. And when we were leaving, we were coming home. I remember seeing a van that said Lincoln Military Academy. And I told my aunt, I said, I'd like to go there. I thought that was cool. She goes, really? She goes, Kiki went there, her son. I said, okay. She goes, I'm gonna bring you. So she brought us like the next day. She set up an appointment. Like they opened doors for her, but they couldn't open them that wide because I could not pass the tests. I failed the hell of that test. Yeah, they couldn't even fake that one. They were like, this boy's he's gonna fail. So I failed the test. They were gonna work with me and try, so I ended up going to a public school. But in that time, you had to speak Spanish. And my Spanish sucks. If you're not in a private school, if you go to public school, you better know how to speak Spanish. So they put me in a public school there. And I remember them putting me in one class, and it's like, and I didn't understand anything. And every time the teacher would say something or ask a question, the whole class would look at me because they knew. So I was a distraction. So the teacher would tell me, do you mind stepping outside? So I would sit in the courtyard till the next class. And that happened. The only class I was able to kind of get through was math. And I suck at math. So that didn't help either. So I was a mess. So, and they sent me out again to the courtyard. And I remember getting up and just saying, I'm leaving. And I walked home. And I don't even remember how I found my way home. But I found my way home. My mom was like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I don't know the language. I said, I'm having a hard time. She goes, and she said, I'm gonna have to send you back to New York. So she sent me to Cindy's. And I stayed there for like maybe a couple of months.
Right.
And then until she came back, because she was doing a class out there. Then she came, and then from there, we had to resettle in New York. She gave up her apartment, everything. So we went, stayed with Titi Rocky, and we stayed there for almost a year until we went back and ended up living basically in the same place where we moved out of. It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
You just did a full circle back.
We did a whole cycle, but it was kind of cool. But just to come back within like a 2-3 year span.
Hey, Latif, we want to give a couple of shout outs here. We got some other freestyle in the house.
Brenda K Star. Hey, girl.
Brenda, we got some more of those. We're gonna play them in a little bit. Yeah, some funny stuff. We're gonna play them in a few minutes. We got my friend Jose Villanueva.
Love you, Brenda.
A show in Puerto Rico called TNT Puerto Rico. This guy interviews salsa artists like we do on Wednesdays. And look at that. They're even tuning into the Freestyle Showcase.
Then we got Marlon
Garland. Hey, Freestyle family. How you doing, Marlon?
And then another
Juan
supporter.
Ortiz.
Hey,
Thank you
that-
so much,
that's
Juan. Thank you
awesome.
for following.
Yeah, he always comes in there. So we have a few people here.
It's a great
tonight.
community. We have a great community around us.
I love you more. He said. Brenda says, "Love you more, Latif."
So anyway, Latif, not going a little bit more forward. Then I mean, after little Susie, what was your next adventure? Because I hear now, you go around with the cover girl. So how did that come along, or did anything in between that happen, like being a DJ, or
Now I
'cause
was a
you got lot
booking
of
agent.
skills.
So when I worked with Susie, I was on the road. During that time, it was very, very, I mean, late 90s, right? Mid to late 90s. The market had pretty much slowed down. People were working, but they were really doing a lot in New York. Nobody was really leaving New York, but we were. Susie was young. I was working at Metropolitan Records at that time, which was basically the label for freestyle at that point. And what made them the label is that Metropolitan had their own pressing plant. So the way they beat the competition is when they got a demo, the next day vinyl was out. They had vinyl out. So and the company had money and the owners had money, so they were able to do a lot of stuff, and they were able to really get Susie outside of the market. So we traveled a lot. I did retail marketing for that label. And sometimes I will work the pressing plant, which I used to love being in the pressing plant. I just love the whole process. But basically, my job was to communicate with record stores around the country, taking orders, ship them their records. But then I used to go out there. So I used to go and meet up with at the record store. So I had a really great relationship with not just the record stores, but also the DJs, because they were calling me. A lot of times I would hook them up, send them some promos, throw a couple extra records in there, because we had so many records. Sometimes we had records just laying around that were shipped back. So I would send them out to them. So while I was there, since I had these connections and I had Susie doing all these shows, the promoters used to ask me, who else do you have? And I really didn't have anybody else, but I knew a lot of people. I knew a lot. I knew pretty much all the artists. So they started asking for certain acts. And I said, okay, let me make a phone call. And when I got back to my office, I started hooking artists up with these shows. And I wasn't taking any money. I was just happy to do it. It was kind of cool. And they all knew me. So they started to get to know me. So Sapphire was one of the first ones I sent out. LC Fascination was another one. I used to send out the Real Sisters. And then I started working through Sabatello, and I started calling for Angel because they wanted the cover girls. And I started booking her. And I didn't know the history. I didn't know anything about the group. I had to learn their music. Like, I remember hearing some of her music and calling her and saying, who sang this? She said, that's me. I'm like, you did the lead? Yeah. How about the background? Oh, I did the backgrounds too. So I started educating myself on what she was doing. And I was learning, doing a lot of the acts like that. I was learning kind of on the fly, And I remember the way I started first charging people. This is so funny. I don't even know if he knows this. I booked the show for Coro, right? And his manager, JR, who's a friend of mine, I've known JR forever. Matter of fact, I just saw him this weekend that passed.
Right.
And while I was on the phone with him, he says, what do you take? What do you charge? 10%? I wasn't charging anything. And I went, 10%. I said, okay. I said, yeah. And at that point, from that point on, I said, I'm charging everybody 10%.
Then you're
And
like, oh, this is good.
And yeah, and I started, and since I worked with other agents, I knew what the contracts looked like. So I created my own contracts from there. And my boss at Metropolitan, Jerry Solano, allowed me to use the infrastructure. I told him, I said, listen, I'm doing a lot of extra stuff because I go on the road to promote records while I'm on the road with Susie. I'm promoting other records. So I'm like, my jobs are overlapping. And I told him, I said, I want to do my bookings from here. He said, yeah, that's fine. Not a problem. He thought it was just going to be one or two here. They started coming. At that time, we weren't doing wires. People were sending FedEx checks or certified checks, bank checks. And then after a while, Jerry used to accidentally open my mail. And he would see these checks and what they for. by that time I started booking Lisa, Stevie B, a lot of those two, a lot. I picked up the Lowrider account for Lowrider magazine,
Oh,
and that was a huge account.
yeah.
So I used to bring acts all over the country, and so that's when I started work. I started bringing Angel on the road, and the thing is with Angel is, I used to book her on the road. And then when I used to get back to work, we used to always talk. I used to have a half-hour walk to the train because I had to catch the PATH train. I didn't drive to Metropolitan. And she used to call me. So we got to know each other like that. And I remember the first time I got around her after we were talking, we were friends. We did a show she did a show in Queens, and I lived in Queens. And I told her, I'm gonna bring you your deposit. So I brought her deposit, and that's when we got to like really connect, right? Connect for a quick period, for a quick minute. And then there was a little rift between me and Sal because of her. It was like it was getting too close. He didn't like it. She didn't like it. It became a little problem. And we didn't talk for a while. And then he booked her for a show, October 27th, 2002. He booked her for a show in Orlando. And I booked Susie in the same show in Orlando. So when the limo picked us up at the airport, I always asked the driver, who else is on this lineup? I didn't know who else was on the lineup because I was only booking Susie for that one.
Right.
So they said, Angie Martinez, Noelle was there, somebody else. And then people don't know her name, Louise. They see it on it, right? So they said, and Louise from the Cover Girls. So Susie looks at me. She goes, who's Louise? I said, that's Angel. I know because I flew her out before. So I knew her name. So I haven't spoken to her in about probably a few months. We haven't spoken because of the little problem that we were having, right? So I'm in my hotel. So funny. I'm in my hotel and I'm looking at the phone. I'm like, man, should I call her? I was going to call the front desk, get her, find out where she's at, and grab her. I'm looking at the phone. And just as I'm looking at the phone rings. And it's her.
Wow.
She called me. Yeah. So
manifestation.
Yeah, it was crazy. So we met down in the lobby. We went to do the show together with Susie. We came back to the hotel. We all sat around. It was me, her, and Susie sitting down. First time I'm really getting to know her on another level. And she's eating out of my plate. She didn't want to eat, but she started eating my food from my plate. And that was October 27th. We connected that evening. And we never separated since then.
Wow.
Yeah. And I remember because me and Susie used to always get connecting rooms, right? Because it was just me and her on the road. So we used to get connecting rooms. And I remember we were getting ready to leave in the morning. And she knocks on the connecting door. So I open up the door. It's early in the morning. We got a flight to catch. There's Angel. So she's looking at us like, what's going on here? I said, nothing. Let's go.
Yo,
Yeah,
let's check out some funny stuff, man. I mean, a lot of people here, they want to see, they see you on TikTok all the time and everything. So we got a couple of skits here that we want to show, your fans out here, whoever's watching us out here.
Okay.
We want to see because you have a lot of talents, And
Thank you, man.
We're going to talk about the comedy.
Right, you got the booking, the artist thing.
And we got the books. We got to talk about the
books.
books.
We're going to talk about that. He got a lot of talent. So,
okay.
Out, people.
All right.
Let's do it.
Guys, stop fighting, please. Jason, look. This isn't you, okay? This isn't the you that we all know and love, Jason. You're better than this, okay? Don't listen to what Stinky Drew has to say. He's trying to get you mad. But I know you're better than this, okay? So take some deep breaths with me. Calm down.
Dios mío, wait. Oh, that's too much. Oh my god.
What do you imagine all these things?
The last time you guys were here in Boca, I was talking to Angel, and she's like, "You know that I'm the one who does all his makeup. You know, like I fix him up." And I go, "You do?" He's, "Oh yeah, I'm all into it."
Teamwork.
Yeah.
That's teamwork. That's good.
She goes to Goodwill and finds me outfits that I need and stuff like that. But that was during my breakdown during COVID. I was stuck in the house. I needed something to do. And I started doing it. I was doing a TikTok. It was hot at that time. I did one every single day.
Oh wow!
Yeah. I think I got like 100. There's like 100 of them.
Oh my
Yo,
god!
we got another short one here. Check it out, people. We got
Okay.
another short one here.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna go back over here. What happened? I can't hear it. Hold on.
I like pizza.
Yeah, I gotta do it again. Sorry.
Hey, how you doing, little mama? Let me whisper in your ear. Tell you something that you might like, dear. I like pizza.
She ain't lying either. She likes pizza.
Oh,
Yeah. So
Angel's a trip. She's great.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, she's still performing like unbelievable. I always feel surreal because now I've always been around music, and we had so many connections. I just didn't know. I was young. I worked at CBS Channel 2 at Black Rock in New York.
Oh, wow.
83, 82. I was an intern, and then 83 to 85. And my
He
mother,
was a nerd.
yeah, I was in the IT department, and the first IT department they had with the PCs and everything. And my mother worked for the president, one of the presidents there. And I wasn't into music as much as I am now. And I was
Right.
there with Walter Jetnikoff, okay, who was
Wow.
the king of music back then,
Yeah.
with Michael Jackson. I met Michael Jackson at CBS, him and
Wow.
Diana Ross in 1984. But I was so starstruck. I was just like, Michael, hey! That was it, you know? But
I would be too.
I mean, I have all his records because we used to get my mother used to get all the records from Columbia Records. So
Right.
I have like tons of Columbia records. Back before was who was it? Billy Joel was really, so I have all the Billy
Wait.
Joel
Well, you get like 30 records for a penny. Do you still owe them money? Huh?
Do I owe them money? I know. She used to tell me because the president used to be able to get, they have them, they're stamped, not for sale. You know,
Yeah.
there's Columbia Records.
Promos. Yeah, the
promo
promos.
records. So they used to give it to us, and the president used to tell me, order records. So she would give me the list. Here, order what you want. And I'd be like, I would order all the stuff. I still have
Wow.
all of them.
That's
Hey,
crazy.
I want to ask Latif a question because he
What?
was saying before that, right? He used to go around the country, or he was touring.
Right.
He was going around the country trying to sell these records, right? So what is the difference between doing that and when DJs had the Record Pool Association? Remember?
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of calls from record pool, the people that ran the record pools. They wanted promos. They wanted us to send them the stuff. So you had some DJs that were part of the record pools. So back then, if you was part of one of the record pools, you was kind of like, at least you felt like a real DJ. We did. There was also a lot of DJs that didn't do record pools. So they would get records directly from us, or they would buy some back order stuff. Records that they can't find. So they would find. So, part of my job in Metropolitan was filling their back catalog. When I first started working there, they gave me a back catalog. I swear it looked like a phone book. And he says, well, he goes, before we send out new stuff, we owe all these records. Because, you got to do returns. There's a whole process. Right. People don't realize that, you send records out as a net 90. It's usually a net 90. So before that 90th day, okay, when they pass the 90 day, the record store has to pay the bill, right? But if they return the record before 90s, they can switch it out for a new record, and now they have another 90 days, and that will be constant. So the warehouse was filled with these returns, and they had these source stickers, when you walk through. So I had to rip those things out, rebox them, send them to the plant, and have them reshrink them, send them back. It was just a constant. Wow. Sometimes we used to do the CD5s, which were the singles. So you had a CD with supposed to be 5 mixes.
Right.
We used to literally get 40-foot dumpsters, those huge construction, and I used to fill them to the rim with CDs
Wow.
because we weren't allowed to give them away because anybody you could turn, they could bring them to a store, get returns. It becomes a mess. I
Right.
used to take all Susie's CD5s and I used to bring them on the road with me. They allowed me to do that. So she was one of the few artists that went with actually, and we gave away CDs. Never sold them. We used to give them away for free. So but yeah, you know, DJs would call and we would do back orders and send some of the records out.
So what's the big difference now? Now with all this technology, we're talking about 30, 40 years ago. Now, what, the internet's been out for what, 25 years? Something like that. So what's the difference now between now? There's no record pools anymore, right? There's
No records.
There's no records. I mean, some
You
people
know,
are
some
going
people
back.
are making vinyl still, you know. Some people are making
Yeah, because they're collectors.
Yeah.
That's so funny because I just got this as a gift. I just got this one, came in, I think, yesterday as a gift from my homegirl. I give her a shout.
Oh, I love that. I gotta get
Who
one of
Latif
those.
and Angel love Shannon.
Nah, it's
I love it.
gorgeous.
I love it.
Yeah, so
I saw
they,
it the other day too.
yeah, I love them. They've always been really cool with us. We're very close with them, and so that's her.
Sorry.
She's got her limited edition. Those who don't have it, man, get in touch with Shannon. Get your copy.
We gotta get
You
in
know?
touch with her.
We gotta get in
Yeah.
touch
Yeah.
with her. We would like
Yeah,
to
we're
have her
on
on
the
the show
show,
someday.
too.
Yeah, so people are doing the vinyl. People still do the vinyl, but they're collectors as, you know, collector's items, limited edition. They're nice to have, you know.
Right.
Yeah, they are.
For us,
see mine
like a lot of the
vinyl.
younger people, they don't know nothing about them. So
And I'm sure some people like old, like, you know, we're not old. Like let's say young. Okay, some people like us, we still
We're
have
sexy and grown.
we still
remember?
have Technique 1200s. We still got our amplifiers,
Yeah.
and we still
Yeah.
put the needle on the record. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, you know, there's still DJs that still do vinyl, but you know, at this point, you know, that becomes a thing. Oh, you know, the real DJs only do vinyl. Well, you know, technology, everybody's got to move on.
change.
Everybody's got to step. I get it. Yeah, spinning vinyl was no joke, but anyone who's trying to do it now,
They're not gonna do that.
first of all, you got to, if you're going to travel, if you're a traveling DJ,
You can't.
you can't bring those crates of
Remember-
records anymore.
You remember back in the day, the clubs,
Absolutely.
the guys would be
50.
coming in with these crates of
you
records.
needed a
but-
crew.
You
You
need a
needed
crew.
a whole entourage. so
No,
you
and
could
what
have
was
a
crazy, if
DJ.
you was a traveling where you got on a plane.
Oh, yeah.
So
crates.
when I was traveling, I remember seeing sometimes the rappers in the airport, and they had, you know, all these crates of records,
Right. Yeah.
and it was like, what the hell? Like, so now everything's on a thumb drive
Yeah. Yeah.
or on
You
their
have to
computer.
do it on the
Yeah.
on the cloud, and then you just wherever they're at,
That's
you just
it.
download it,
Your
and then
That's it.
phone, Your
on your
phone.
phone. Yeah.
Yep.
No,
I
I
got
mean,
Yeah.
there's
everything on my
good things.
phone.
It's good thing and bad things. Like back in the day, you could actually get your music on the radio. Okay, now you can get it on there if you pay for it. Okay.
I'm not a fan of tradition. Listen, I'm not a fan of traditional radio, you know, especially now. You know, we have the internet. People just got to know how to use it the right way. Traditional radio, I mean, I don't remember I don't even listen to radio in my car.
I don't
I'd
either.
rather
I don't
talk.
listen to radio anymore.
Yeah.
I listen to radio.
So the power, you know, I used to have to go to KTU on radio day. I think it was
Oh,
a
yeah.
Tuesday. And we used to have to go with the new records. And it was almost like you had to really kiss ass, man, to get a record, you know, forget about add it on rotation, just for them to play it, you know? It was like, it was such a conspiracy sometimes, you know, it was like, what do I gotta do? What do you know? They don't, you know, they're not asking you for money, they're not asking you, but then you know what they started doing? And any artists who are listening will agree. They used to do stuff like the big radio promos, like who did we used to do? Philly used to do I think it was the Munster Jam. KTU did what they doing? I think Vito was doing that one. But what they did instead of telling artists, give us money and we'll play your record. Now it's like, come to this show and support our show. These were free radio shows. We didn't get paid for them. All right. And if they like us, and the reason why would we do it? Think about it. Because we want to try to get that ad. We want to try to get our new stuff on the radio. Sometimes we got it. Sometimes we didn't. Sometimes it was just a spike to play it once or twice, just to kind of shut us up, pacify us. But then they won't play it anymore. And it was frustrating. It was like, and then you get on the phone, nobody's answering your phone. It was bad. So when radio started to take a dive, hey, whatever. Now it's up to everybody. You want to promote your record? Hey, you don't need the competition. Now you have social media. You got YouTube. Right. You got all the social medias, but you got to hustle now because now the playing field has leveled off. You can promote and go head to head with the big dogs. You could, but it depends on what you're willing to do, how hard you're willing to play. Yeah. It's not about, but they got money, they can do it. That doesn't exist anymore.
See, that's
Good.
But now if you do turn on the radio, I find freestyle playing all the time. Like
some station,
on some stations, they're constantly playing, especially down here, down south. I mean, they're always playing freestyle. So I was like,
we got records on the radio because we want to sell records. We want to sell our records so we can do bigger shows, and so the popularity is there. Right. Now where's that? How's that? They're playing the lunch break. They're playing freestyle. What's that doing? That's not doing for us. We're getting shows from our past. We're not getting shows because we're not. I got Raquel right now. I got Raquel in Detroit right now. She didn't get that because they're playing her record in Detroit. She got that from us being in the promoter's face on social media and us letting them know that, yes, she has a hit and showing the fans interacting with this music and the fact that, we could get in there and we can sell out your spot, So it's has nothing to do with radio. That's why when radio calls us now to do a promo, it comes with a price tag. We don't do free shows no more.
That's right.
Nope.
Let me ask you a question. I mean, everybody, even in the Latin community, even in the English community, they ask us, Jecee, what is freestyle? Like when we tell them we got a freestyle show, a podcast on Thursday, they're like, what is freestyle music?
Some people don't know what that means.
Now, another question besides that one is two questions. What is freestyle? How would you describe it? And then, did freestyle really started with the Latino artist? Because I know there's a mix. But I mean, most of the artists that I know, they're mostly Latino.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of controversy. Like I could say stuff and I'll piss off a bunch of people, right? So, because you got the people in Miami say, "Oh, we started it," because I handle the group Freestyle Don't Stop the Rockets automatic. So you ask them, they believe it came from their name, and they might not be wrong. I'm not saying they're wrong. I wasn't in Miami at that time, And then we have what was going on in New York with Cover Girls, TKA, acts like that, right? So, but at that time when we were out there, it was never called freestyle. I don't remember the name freestyle coming in until like the 90s.
Oh, really?
I don't remember.
How did that occur? How did that change?
It was all dance music. It was all dance music, yeah, because everybody was following suit with like Lisa.
Right.
That wasn't a freestyle record, and now it's considered freestyle. It wasn't freestyle then, And a lot of artists try to stay away from that term, which I always thought was a bad idea. They try to unlabel themselves. I'm like, don't unlabel yourselves. Be proud of it, because you know what? These big concerts that we're doing, that's packing. We do the Bobby D. We're doing 17,000 people on the West Coast. We do Alan Beck. We'll do 8,000 to 10,000 people. The one we just did in Chicago with Tony Batoy, what 4,000 people. Charlie Rock, he's killing it. We're doing now, stuff that Charlie Rodriguez is. These places are doing thousands of people that are coming into these events. So.
Well, the last one you was in, I heard they had like 5,700 people.
No, it was 8,300 people. What was that other? Which is the guy who said yesterday?
I'm talking about the freestyle.
Oh, from Kissimmee?
Kissimmee.
There was a lot of people there too in Kissimmee this past weekend.
Yeah, that one we did the Boca, but yeah, so with the freestyle, so what I'm trying to say is that all of these, if you look at all those shows that I just named, they all have the word freestyle in their title. Legends of Freestyle, Freestyle Explosion, except to Batoy, I love the 80s and 90s, but it's freestyle artists, okay? But Freestyle Explosion, the Freestyle Fest, the Freestyle Extravaganza, I could go on, so we don't want to throw the title away. Let's come in. In fact, other people are coming in. You got R&B, we're doing shows with Montel Jordan. we're not doing the R&B shows. He's coming into ours.
Right.
He's performing under the Freestyle banner. So is Rob Bass, Sugar Hill,
The
Planet
Sugar Hill
Patrol,
gang.
JJ
Yes.
Fad. These are rappers, you
Right.
know, that are
Right.
coming in. Some of the when we do the cruise with Priscilla, all right, she mixes it up, you know, and she calls it the Freestyle Cruise,
That's good.
you know.
Yeah.
But we're doing
We
the
just kinda-
reggaeton
we
on
just
there.
adopted that.
Now
We
I
adapted that.
now I know what to tell people, like, you know, the people that don't understand freestyle. Now I can tell them it's like dance music.
You know what it was
Dance
is that
back in the 80s, I remember.
me personally, right? So when we were growing up, when I was growing up, right? So I grew up, and probably everyone who grew up, I grew up in New York, in the Bronx, huge fan of music. I wanted to be a singer when I was a kid, you know. So the two groups that I followed were the Jackson 5, of course,
Yes, yes.
and the Osmonds.
Yes.
The Osmonds,
remember
Robert.
the show? The Osmond Show.
Absolutely.
Of
course.
Down here in Marin.
So those were the two. Now check this out. Puerto Rican from the
Yeah.
Bronx. Jackson High, Jackson 5 were not Puerto Rican. Neither were the Osmonds. I
No.
had nobody. We had nobody.
Menudo.
So then my mother had Latin, but we didn't really follow the stuff that our mothers liked. To me, the music, and they might have been young, I don't know now, but the music that my mother was listening to, all the salsa stuff, to me, they were a bunch of old men. I was like, I can't relate to them. I can't speak the language. Remember what happened to me in Puerto Rico? So that wasn't going to work for me either, you know? Then when we got an artist like Lisa, we're like, wait a minute, hold up. Here's a Latina, man, from the hood.
Right.
She looks just like my sister. She
Yeah.
talks like my best friend, you know? And then you got the, you know, acts like TKA. These are guys I hang out with, and you know what I'm saying? And it started, how the name, who brought the name up, I don't know.
Wow.
There's a lot, everybody's going to say I did. I don't
Right.
know, you know? You know, the first song that I remember hearing was Shannon.
Oh, yeah.
Give me
You know,
tonight at the
was
music.
she the first one? I don't know. Maybe she wasn't, but that was the first one I heard.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
love that
I think the
song.
first
Oh my-
freestyle song that I heard
called-
was Spring Love. And
Stevie B.
then Stevie B, and then the EAEIOU.
The C-Bank.
all that
Yeah,
stuff, you know.
So
those are
yeah,
the
you know,
freestyles.
and yeah, see what I'm saying? We don't, it just kind of made its way in. But you know, listen, this many years later, we're extremely fortunate.
Yes.
We're extremely fortunate. I feel extremely blessed to do what I do for a living for now 35 years.
And what you love too.
Oh, yeah.
To
man.
do what I
Yeah.
love
Exactly. With the
with
music,
my
it makes you
wife.
happy. Yeah. And now
Exactly.
Angel's your wife. And how long you been married now?
22 years.
Wow. That's
Okay,
great.
that's
Congratulations.
amazing.
Look
Thank
at
you.
that.
Thank you.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
So, you know, so yeah, it's a blessing, you know, and I'm always trying to encourage, not only encourage the promoters, the artists to keep it going. I'm a fan of all of them. I really am. I'm really a fan of all of them. But not only that, but also I always try to encourage new people to come on board and try their hands at promotions. Because right now, our livelihoods come from shows. We need shows. That's why it's very important. I tell all the artists, we need to nurture, you got to nurture those promoters. Don't screw the promoters over.
Right.
At the same time, I tell the promoters, don't screw the artists
The
over.
artist over.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll stand up for artists. Even if I didn't book the artist, I'll stand up for the artists, and promoters will tell
It's
you.
a mutual respect. There has to be
Yes.
a mutual respect.
It has to be. I don't want to see the promoters try to get over or the artists try to get over. It needs to be something, you know, we have to keep them going. We have to, you know, as an agent, a lot of times I'll get promoters that come on board, right? They'll call me out of the blue. Every day I get a new promoter that calls me. They're new. They want to try their hands. They've never done it before. And they're a little embarrassed. I'll tell them, listen, I got you. I got you. We need you. I tell them, we need you. A lot of times they come in and they might have a small spot. Maybe it's 500 people, small capacity. And the first question I ask them, I said, well, who do you have in mind? Who would you like to have? Right away, a promoter or someone who wants to get to, they're going to talk about their most loved artists, the artists that they are a fan of. And they're usually going to be more of the upper tier acts, the Stevies, the Lisas,
Right.
the Susie, cover girls, you know,
Right.
acts like that. They're going to be more upper tier, right? a lot of other agents would try to take those promoters and do what they can to sell them that show, whatever it is that they want, not realizing that we can hurt them like that. These acts are very expensive, and it'll be really hard for that artist to make any kind of money, which means that if they take a hit, I can guarantee you they'll never do it again. And none of us win if that's what happens. None of us are going to win.
Right.
So a lot of times I have to pull the artist back. I have to pull the promoters back and say, it's beautiful. We can get to that artist.
Right.
Let's wind it back a little bit.
Right.
Let's try this artist. Let's get this artist in here. This artist is this amount. We can bring them in. We'll see how it works. I'll get behind you. I'll help you push it, do what I can. We'll get some drops on, get it out there. And then you make a few dollars, and then we do it again. By the time you even finish with that show, we'll know who's going to be the next one. We can bring it up a notch.
Right.
And you have to build them, and you have to nurture them. You have to get it going. Some promoters don't have the patience. They want to, and some of them jump ahead and do well. So, you never know. But I want to make sure that they're okay, that they're not going to go and kill it and not be able to do it again. Because there's a lot of promoters that are not in the business anymore. I'm still friends with probably a dozen of them that don't promote anymore because they took hits. They took unnecessary hits that they should never have taken. And we can't do that. We need,
talking about hits like that. I always been a fan of the underdog, whether it's freestyle, whether it's hip hop, whether it's salsa. And in salsa right now, a bunch of new artists, recording artists, okay, like
right,
all over the place. So what they're doing with the salsa artists now, a lot of big venues that got the top dogs, the top tiers. All right, let's say we got 8 top tiers, right? They'll bring in 3 of the new up and coming artists.
Right.
Now, I want to ask you the same thing in freestyle. Like right now, I know there's Jecee B, George Anthony. I know this.
He's been around for a
Right.
while.
There's artists that they people don't consider them top tier, even though they got great songs, and I love them. So you think this should be a good idea because, like you said, we've been fortunate, and we have a lot of gratitude that we've been here this far. Right. And all these years, and we still performing and we still kicking butt, right? But do you think it's a good idea to bring in these people too? I mean, there's a lot of openers.
Yeah, it is a good idea, but you got to realize now I'm an agent, right? So I listen to 2 sides. I listen to the artists, those who are on every show, as well as those who don't get on every show. Some that barely get on any shows. And when they do get on a show, they're practically doing it for free. Then I listen to the promoters. What are the promoters doing? What are they thinking? What's going through their head? Promoters are not here to help us be successful. They're not. The promoters are here strictly to sell tickets. So if a promoter finds 5 artists that they can put on stage for this amount of money and they can make X amount back, they're going to try to repeat that.
Right.
If they do change it up, they're going to change it slightly. They're going to leave some of their headliners, or there might be some other headliners they might switch up. They might say, okay, well, I can take this one down. I can take Expose down, put the cover girls. They're still good. We'll keep Stevie here. We'll keep Lisa here. And then we'll put these. But every artist, these promoters, what the promoters want is that every single artist brings something in. It's all about the name. You can have I tell people all the time, you can have the best song in the world. It's the name. That's why so many people fight over names. Oh, there's 7 cover girl groups out there. There's this group there. Those names are what sells. People don't realize whether they're good or they suck until after the show.
Right.
But it's the name of the group that pulls them in. So the promoter wants to put up this stellar flyer with massive names, there's mega names up there, So it's hard to even justify the fact that they will bring in, I love Jecee B. I think he's great. Stephanie Bennett, who hustles. I mean, she's a hustler. There's a lot. I could give you a name. I know a lot of them. A lot of those acts that I know personally, and they're great artists.
Right.
And they can sing and perform circles around some of the more established ones. I know this for a fact. But the established ones are already that. They're established.
Yeah, they got the name out there. Everybody
They've
knows
proven
the name.
themselves, and they sell tickets. And the promoter is not concerned about your career. The promoter is concerned about selling tickets. Listen, especially when they do those big events, they're expensive.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And if you go over the time, like I get calls, hey, see if I can open up. I'm like, they got 7 acts on this show, and they got 3.5 hours to get everybody done. That's hoping there's no mistakes, and that's with a host in between, and maybe a DJ, and maybe a short intermission. You know, that stage time is very expensive. You know, so what does the new artist need to do? They need to continue to hustle their ass off. They need to be out there. They need to be in people's face, you know, because once they get on board and they start making it happen, it can open up a lot of doors for them. But they can't keep pointing and saying these people aren't hooking me up. Do you know I started a roster a while ago, maybe early 2000. It was called the Magnificent B List. Okay. And I did this, and a lot of people remember this. Okay. It was the only project that I started and then shut down. Because when I start something, whether it's a book or something else, I run with it. But the Magnificent B List I did because I was listening to an interview. And I remember an artist, I forgot who it was a new artist. And he said, if I was on the same platform as, let's say, a George Lamont, if somebody gave me that opportunity, I'll kill it and I'll wipe everybody out, you know? And I thought about that. And I said, okay. I said, wow, that's interesting. So if I could now I'm an agent. If I can put you on the same stage as with the George Lamont or with the Cover Girls, if I could put you on the same stage, they got 15 minutes, you got 15 minutes, or even 10 minutes, because you only need 15 minutes to kill it. You should be able to kill it in 3 minutes or one song, right? If I put you on that same stage, then this should open up a lot. Now I had the power to put you on that stage. Right. So what I did is I created this thing called the Magnificent B List. The artists individually didn't have any real pull. So what I did is I almost created like a buffet of artists where the promoters could come in, they could do their lineup, and then they could pick 3 or 4 artists. I'll give them one fee. I wasn't taking a red cent. I was hiring 1 road manager, maybe 2 dancers to go with them to share, and bring those artists and put them on the road with them. I set up the whole thing. I created the roster. I started making the calls. I'm a salesman. I started getting buzzes. Nobody bought yet, but people were listening. My promoters were saying, so Latif, you really think this will work? I'm like, yeah, I think it will work. These are some great artists. It's not going to cost you much. And we can make it, we can make it happen. Before I was able to get the first show together, the artists started to drop out. Supposedly a rumor went around that I was dissing everybody by calling them a B-list. Obviously, a lot of them weren't B-list. They were like D or C-list. But I gave them, and I called them B-list. Because that was the angle that I was doing, the Magnificent B-list, meaning these are not your big artists that you're seeing that everybody's complaining about being on every show. Oh, it's the same 8 people on every show because those 8 people are selling tickets. Now we need to get you to be number 9. And this is how I wanted to do it. They didn't see the vision. They didn't see it. And it got frustrating to a point. I looked at my wife and said, I'm going to drop it. She goes, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I've heard, through different people that there's some drama, I mean, there's drama in all music industry.
Yeah.
There's drama in the freestyle world and the art. I don't know if it's the artist or what it is. And
no, it's just regular.
Yeah,
that happens everywhere.
It's about the music. It's about bringing joy to people.
Yeah.
I mean, all this music that you play.
No, but this wasn't really about the drama. This is not what I was getting at. What I was getting at was I created the platform. Right.
Yeah, no,
so
I understand that. I'm saying
they just didn't see it. They didn't see it. I got it, My intentions wasn't to insult anybody.
Well, that's how we do. We try to do it too. That's why we like to bring different type of artists to the show,
Right.
even on the salsa show, and we bring artists that people don't know.
Right.
Listen to their music. Let's promote them. So the same
Yeah.
way we want to promote. That's why we started this freestyle platform, and we're separating it so we can get to other artists out there that are doing
Right.
work, that are doing music out there, and just having another platform for them because
Yep.
they don't get the promotion. And we've
Right,
been
right.
promoting artists for a long time. I mean, I started like I don't know how long ago since I've been in
And you
Miami.
know what? I'm gonna
basically.
add to that because I've asked a lot of freestyle artists, like the top tier,
Right.
and I've asked them that question about bringing up new freestyle artists because we're not getting any younger and we can go as long as we can, and they all agreed. Now it's like Latif said, it's all about the mighty dollar and it's about the promoters. They want to sell the tickets. They wanna
Right.
sell
If you
everything.
were a promoter and you put 5 acts and they sold you out, and you were gonna do it again, you too, you'll think twice about changing that lineup. Let's be real.
How about adding to that lineup, like you said?
Well, sometimes you run into stage time. It gets
Yeah,
expensive.
Yeah.
Some of those penalties could be like $2,000-$3,000 for like a minute going over. It's crazy.
Right.
So yeah, it's a really,
Complicated.
and then promoters want to charge $100, $125, $80. So it has to make sense. So when you put all the lineup, they'll say, okay, so what am I getting for $100? Well, you're getting Cover Girls, you're getting Brenda K. Star, you're getting this one, you get TK, you get Joe. They want to know, okay, this is worth it. This is worth it. If it's only a couple of acts and then a bunch of new acts, they're not going to be able to. It's just not going to balance
It's
out.
just the way people are. It's just the way. It's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate.
Well, it is what it is. It's just like with rappers. It's just like with the rappers, the same thing. Go out there. It's an extra. You gotta hustle.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful business. It's not easy.
Yeah.
You gotta bust your ass. You really got to get creative. Yeah, you got to get creative. Listen, I look at Stephanie Bennett. People could talk as much shit as they want about her, but she gets on a lot of shows. I've known Stephanie for like 30 years. She hustles.
You have to.
She hustles. She puts on a great show. She looks good. She got great songs. And she ain't taking nothing from nobody. She's going to go out there. Unfortunately, it's taken her a very long time.
Wow.
But she's getting it. If you look at her she gets on these shows. She's on a couple of good shows right now.
Let's go down memory lane for a little bit. Right, we got some nice snapshots here with
I can do it this way. No.
with Sal, which I want to talk about that in a few minutes.
Oh, there we go.
SAL. We're gonna talk about that in a few minutes.
Okay.
So there we go. That is talking about SAL. I think that is SAL right there.
Yep. Susie Angel Lizette.
That's SAL, this other group that he put together with 3 legends.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. Then I got another.
That was at the Freestyle Music Awards 2008. I produced the first ever freestyle red carpet freestyle music awards in Miami-Dade, Florida. It was a spectacular event. Brenda was there.
Wow.
Who was there? TKA, Sweet Sensation.
Wow.
Man, Johnny, Debbie Deb. Huh?
I was what 2008 you said?
2008.
Yeah. We were in Miami.
Yeah. Original Cover Girls, Caroline, Margot, and Angel. That was actually, you see this picture? That picture was 2011. It was their first performance. Yeah, it was their first performance at Long Beach Gay Pride. Right? When I first put the girls back together, I got on the phone. I started making phone calls, and I knew I wanted to do something big. People knew I had them. So I started getting a lot of calls, a lot of inquiries, a lot of offers. And one that came in was one that I hit was from a company called Club Papi, right? And he told me, he says, I had Angel do some of his shows as a solo artist. He says, I'm doing Long Beach Pride. He goes, we're looking at about 40,000 people.
Wow.
I said, you got the gay, you got it. I'm going with you. So the girls, I had made show tapes. I sent them all show tapes. I think I mailed them. At that time, we were doing still CDs. So I sent them all CDs. And then we met like the day before at the hotel. And it was crazy because I think I have some of this footage when they all came back together. Now, Caroline, Angel, and Sunshine, they reunited at the 2008 Freestyle Music Awards for the first time, but there was no performance. So this here was the first performance. And
right.
so we met up with the girls at the hotel's first time that I'm seeing the original cover girls. Well, this lineup with Margot, because I had never met Margot at that time. I already met Caroline. And they met in the lobby of the hotel. I took them to eat. We sat down, we ate. Then we went up to my room. And I remember taking the bed and picking up the entire bed in the room and standing it up against the wall to give them room so they could rehearse. And we had a boombox, and they rehearsed. I even have some footage of that. And they rehearsed, and they went and they did the first show the next morning, and they killed it. And they stayed signing autographs. We must have went on about, I don't know, maybe 4 o'clock. By the time we left that place, it was already dark.
Wow.
When they told people to line up for autographs, it seemed like all 40,000 people lined up.
Wow.
Definitely got. No, I would have to say, if I had to guess, I would say about 800 people lined up.
Wow.
So the girls sat there and they took pictures and signed autographs with everybody, And it was there when we did that. I said, okay, this is gonna work.
Okay, so let me see. Do we have any more pictures? I think we had a couple more pictures. Let's see. Let's go back over here.
I want to see another skit.
Wait. I lost my screen. There's my screen. There you are.
Yep.
You are younger.
It's me with Lil Susie and Adam Morano from Collage.
Wow.
So Collage was a Metropolitan artist. So I used to take him on the road a lot. So
that's cool.
Don't ask me where that's from. And that's with Raquel. I work with Raquel now. I'm her agent, exclusive agent. She's managed by Entourage Productions, which is Paul Lopes. He's also a promoter, great promoter. And they came on board with me at the beginning of the year. They said, Latif, we want to come on with La Entertainment. I worked with Raquel for many years. She's a great artist, incredible vocalist. She's dope. She's in Detroit right now. She's about, what time is it? She's probably getting ready to hit the stage soon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's so cool. So those are some of the artists you work with. I mean, you've been working with so many people over the years.
I worked with everybody. I worked with practically everybody,
And I'm going to share this one. So we're going to hit the books. You got lots of books.
Another talent.
I got 11 books.
Jack of all trades, baby.
Well,
11 books.
Before that, we have to tell everybody the Freestyle Blast. You got to go get the Freestyle Blast newsletter that Latif has and sign up for that. He has some great stories. I mean, I've been reading them. I come in and start reading all these stories about Angel and things happen. I'm like, wow, all this stuff happened. I didn't know none of this stuff. Like all the drama and things in the music industry. Everybody, people stealing music. People stealing their basically their name, their careers. I mean, people just
stuff happens. I'm telling you, it's not easy.
Hey, Arlene.
Yeah. We try to keep it I try to keep it positive. I don't put, if I put something negative, it's because I had to say it. But I try to keep it positive. I want people to look at it in a different light. So the newsletter is that. I've done enough with I went head to head with a lot of people. I've dealt the drama. I dealt with fake acts, and I had a lot to do with that. I'm pretty much past that. I think everybody knows who's who at this point. So let's move on. We're getting older. Exactly. Let's go do these shows, Exactly. So my whole thing was just to make it clear to the fans who was who. And if you're cool with this person being who they say they are,
right?
Well, even though they're not, and you're willing to pay that ticket, then God bless you. God bless the artist. Let's go do the show. Right. And that's all I want to do is just make sure it was clear that nobody was being deceived, and we were able to do that, right. And that's all I asked of the artists, even the artists that got pissed off at me.
And so you said you have 11 books.
Yeah, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 novels. 5 of them are novels.
I know. I gotta start reading. Get some of the books. I haven't had a chance to.
Well, if you didn't read them yet, you're probably never gonna get to them. Read that one though. If you get it, if you're gonna read any, read Freestyle for Life.
Okay. Cool. And then we got
Freestyle.
Freestyle.
Get it?
Yep.
Freestyle.
style.
Yeah, and that's little Susie on the cover, in case you didn't know.
Oh, look at that. This is like what is this, like a horror kind of thing?
Yeah. So
Like,
think about if there was a if a freestyle artist was actually a vampire, how would that play out?
Ah,
It's actually an interesting book. It's an interesting angle.
Yeah.
A lot of on the road, behind the scenes, at the events, at dealing with the promoters. Some really crazy stuff with a little twist to it. Yeah.
It's like he wrote, hey, this should be a movie, man. They
Could be a
did
movie.
they did the
Well, books
true
come out of-
true
movies come out of
blood.
books, too.
Remember the True Blood with the vampires? That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking here. Oh, that would be kind of fun, and then have some freestyle music in the between.
Yeah.
what we got here.
Yeah.
So, and then we got how to book a freestyle artist in just 5 easy steps.
Right. Yeah. And that's the only one that's only an ebook.
Okay.
And that one, it's on Amazon, but I give that one for free, basically.
Mhm.
And it's to do that because I want to teach people how to book these acts, whether they book them through me or anybody. It really doesn't matter. But
Right.
a lot of people are intimidated, so I'm making it as easy as possible to show them what they can do and how they can become profitable too. Because that's the key for a promoter to become profitable. And let me tell you something. Don't sleep on the money, because I've been in the back rooms while these promoters counted out that door. So I know the money that they can make in a night. So it's lucrative, and we can make the promoters' night. We all stay in business. Listen,
Exactly.
I'm doing shows with
Great
disco
idea.
acts. These disco acts are 80 years old, 80 something years old.
Any ideas?
What?
No, nothing.
No, I'm
Sounds
just
good.
saying that we've had, right? We've done shows in Miami since we've been together. We've done different type of shows and events here, and more in salsa because that's what we're doing. But that a lot of times, like I say, that somebody will say, "How do I book this person?" I'm like, I don't know. Like all of a sudden, you're trying to look on social media. The artist doesn't have any information on their page. Like, call this person to book me. They don't have a phone number. Then you have. I mean, really, it's difficult. Sometimes it's really
Right.
difficult.
Yeah, I don't want to hide that information. Some people, other agents, want to hide it because they feel that the buyers are going to go around. They're going to get on Facebook, contact the artist. Me, I'm like, okay, well, if that's the way you want to go, then do it. But just book. What I tell the promoters, what I tell the artists or whoever they're calling is, just handle them the right way. Don't be careful with the promoters. Don't go and dog them and rob them and just try to, I got one shot to get what I want. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
we can't do that, because before you know it, there'll be no more shows. Nobody's going to want to book.
Exactly.
And we can't rely on just the big concerts.
Well, now we know where to go. We can
now
go.
we know where to go. 5 easy
Like,
steps, or
yeah.
contact Latif.
Hell yeah.
Mercado
Hell yeah.
Exactly. And I have all your. Let's see. I'm gonna put it back up here again. Where's my banner? Where's my banner? I have all your information right there. Here's
That's
your
it,
phone
baby.
number.
Yep.
704-665-9448 or
Mhm.
704-226-8900. So there's
Yep.
the number here for Latif, and you can contact him.
Or hit me through social media. You can hit me. Yeah. Even if they, anybody who even wants, they have some questions, I'm open. No strings attached. They don't have to call me to book the acts or anything.
Right.
I'm careful about sharing prices. As you notice, I don't speak
Right.
prices.
Right.
That's confidential. I do talk prices when I'm ready to book, but I gotta know that they're potential promoters. We don't want prices floating out there. It's not fair to the artists. The artists work really hard, and pricing an artist, there's almost like an art to it. You have to be careful. So an artist has to price themselves to a point where they're pretty sure they can get it. Because I tell artists all the time, especially when they come to me and they ask for a number that I think might be a little bit outrageous, what you never want to do is price yourself here only to have to come back here later. That doesn't look good. So, step up slowly,
Right.
and don't worry about what other people get paid. Don't worry about that. I say that to my own artists. Don't worry about, you find what works for you, what you feel
Exactly.
comfortable with, and make sure that you're bringing that value.
Right.
You got to always give a little bit more. If you're going to you say, well, I'm only going to do this show. They only want to pay me this, so I'm only going to do 2 songs. Well, then you're screwing yourself. That's dumb. If they want to pay you for 2, do 3, do 4.
Right, exactly.
Always give a little bit more. That's the only way you're going to bring your numbers up, and it has to be value.
Right.
If you're
They
good and you're
inflate the
comfortable
number.
with your number, run with your number. There's some artists that have had the same number for years, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine, but they work every week.
Right. Exactly.
Then you have some that price themselves really high. They might work once a month. That's fine too. It's it's up to you. Just don't look at what other people, because I get that. Well, so and so gets this.
No.
That's none of your business.
Exactly.
You know?
It's like when you work in a corporation, right? Everybody has a salary. That's like one of the top things HR says. You never talk about your salary
Yeah.
amongst other people that you work with.
Yep.
Because
I don't
they're
even my wife doesn't know what other artists. She doesn't ask me. We don't talk about that. We really don't. Because there's that has to be separated.
Exactly.
Exactly. She knows what I price her is because I know I could get that.
Right.
What I price little Susie and Raquel's because I know I could get that.
Right.
None of them are priced to a point where anybody comes to me and says, "That's too much money." I don't get that ever.
Yeah.
And when I'm ready
I
to
know.
go up, it's because I know we're ready to go up a little bit. And when I do go up, it's not astronomical and it makes sense. And it's about that time,
Yeah, we found out of some. Remember, we were trying to find out like big artists and things like that, and,
Yeah, it
and
was
different genres.
it was funny, just like
And
you said. I mean,
Some
the
people
pricing
had
was very funny.
pricing that was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, it's like a car paint, and not even a car. It was like a price of a new car. Okay, like it was
Yeah.
like, okay, I understand some of them. Yeah,
there's
well,
Yeah.
some of them,
vendors
yeah,
that'll
but
make
some
the
of them now.
I
because of
booked
the
I book a
changes in
lot of
music.
I booked a lot of rappers,
Yeah,
old
they-
school and new school and R&B people, old school and new school. So I know what those ranges look like. I know what those
Yeah.
numbers look like, you know.
But
Yeah,
work
and
big.
they
People
are.
come see them. People come see these people. So
Yeah.
you're booking like those big artists. When you see the stadiums full of
Yeah.
whoever it is, like back in the day, Madonna would fill a stadium, right?
Yep.
Or I'm trying to think who else. Like
Don't say Bad Bunny, please.
I didn't.
Don't mention that.
Nah, why
I'm
you
just-
mentioned
I'm just
it?
kicking it
I'm talking
because
about old
this guy's
school
like,
stuff.
right.
Michael Jackson, all those times when we were going Earth, Wind, and Fire. I mean, come on, those people
Yeah.
were amazing back in the day, and they
still
had,
fill up stadiums,
and they're still fill up stadiums because that was the
Yep.
music, and they have a huge orchestra. So
And the promoters pay that because they know that they'll be able to get that money, make that money and make a profit. And
Exactly.
the artists charge that because they know you got to know your business. You got to know what you
Right.
can do,
right, exactly.
So, but at the same time, promoters have a big job too. Like I get promoters sometimes that call me and they'll say, Latif, if I book this artist, how many people can they bring in?
What are you talking about?
These artists, they all already made their runs. They're established. So we've got artists we've all run through where we've done a show and it was half empty or 3/4 empty, and we've had shows where they sold out immediately, right? The artists already did their job. They got the hits, they got the name, but the promoters have to do their job. That's why they're the promoters.
Right.
So
right.
it's I put it this way: what will work better? A great artist with a whack promoter, or a whack artist with a great promoter? Who do you think is going to do better?
Well, the promoter is the one.
I still to say the one with the top artist.
Yeah, but
Even if he's a whack. But see, that's a tricky question
it is
because
a tricky question.
because I don't think the artist should promote themselves. That's what the promoter's for.
Right.
They're supposed to be in charge of the marketing,
right.
flyers, distribution.
So if they do
Right,
good
so-
promoting and marketing,
Right,
they should
but
be able to sell the
if
show.
you have a top tier artist and a whack ass promoter,
you're still gonna make money.
or a whack ass artist, artist and a great promoter, who's going to kill it?
I don't know. I think the art. I don't know. Personally, I think the artist with the name, the big artist, just because. Well, it goes both.
If the promoter isn't doing their job, nobody's going to even know that artist is going to be
Nobody
there.
know about the show.
They're not going to know
So
anything.
yeah, you know what it is also that there's promoters out there that just by mentioning their name, either you got like a okay freestyle artist or top tier. If the promoter is the shiznit,
yeah.
He'll
Well,
bring in the
that's why
people.
some of the promoters that we know now that've been doing, these
A promoter can bring in people.
they can bring in
besides the
people
artist.
because but they work
Yeah.
at it. The ones
Yeah.
that are doing it
Right.
now, that are constantly doing
Yeah.
it down here. and
So,
doing it
basically
over
what I'm trying to get at is that the promoters need to do their job.
Yeah,
They can't put all that pressure on the artist. The artist did theirs already.
yeah, they're
You know?
performing. They got to do the performance, so they
Yeah.
can't,
Listen, there's promoters that I've turned down shows because I know how they operate.
Mm.
Sometimes I question them without questioning them. Just through a conversation, I can tell how they're gonna play the game, and it's gonna be horrible. It's already gonna be horrible. We didn't even get that far, and I got to pass. I'll pass on the show. I did one. I think it was last week that I passed. Great guy. He didn't know what he was doing, and I wasn't putting any of my artists in that line of fire. He would have paid them, but it would have been a really bad experience, and I'm not for that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna put a clip here.
Which one should we put
Some
on?
nice something with Angel and the cover
Ah.
girl. But besides that, I missed the show last week, man, in Kissimmee. I was really
Oh,
bummed out about
I
it.
know.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? I mean, I know I saw on social media Charlie got presented the award.
Yeah, Mickey
Mickey
Garcia
Yeah.
presented him. I mean, Charlie's
I'm gonna say it here. I really wanted to go there. I really wanted
Yeah.
to meet Mickey and other artists that were there.
I know it was gonna be a great show.
It was gonna be awesome, you know.
Yeah.
Our freestyle show.
No, listen, it was great, man. Everybody did a great job. The artists killed it. The crowd was phenomenal. That crowd sang every word to every song for every artist.
Wow.
Charlie did his thing, man. I've known Charlie forever. He's always been really good at what he did, you know.
That's good. And he's
And I'm glad. I like to see it. And he's so excited. He's already planning the next one.
Oh, I can't wait.
So I got a phone.
no,
I already got the phone call. So
We're definitely there for the next one. We already
Yeah.
told him.
yeah, I ain't gonna present the date because let him do that. But
Oh yeah, he'll let us know.
yeah, he hit me up right away. He goes, hey, I'm gonna do it again, man. You there? I said, I got you. Let's do it. Let's do it.
And the next one, for sure,
We're
we'll be
definitely
prepared. You
there.
know, it was just the move. The move was really hard, and
Yeah. No, I know that.
everything
know
was
that.
landing in the
But it
right
was good. The
place.
artist was good. That's a great market, though. That's a great market.
It
So,
is.
I got the cover girls doing Jungle Island in Miami, September, I think. I don't remember.
September?
I
Oh,
think so.
cool.
Yeah.
Charlie Rodriguez.
Yeah, with Rodriguez.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna do that one. That one just got locked in. I don't remember the date.
Okay,
So,
I'll have to check it out. Yeah. Yeah, we had Charlie Rodriguez on the show a while back.
Exactly.
He was talking
Yeah,
about the
interview.
right.
That was for the March, for the March.
to have in
23rd.
March. Yeah.
That was
Right,
the same
right.
day. That was the same day we went to see you guys at
Say
mine.
Boca. Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had to choose, you know.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
glad you
we
picked
do.
ours.
Oh, who's here? This is D. Marie Entertainment checking in.
Check it in. All
Mhm.
right.
So that's a hustler. That's another hustler right there.
That's good. See,
I know what's up with the
Yeah,
women,
yeah.
man. The women in this genre, man, they kill it.
Good.
So yeah,
I'm gonna go back to the books before.
D Marie has a show going on. Anybody? It's D. I'm doing this off the top of my memory. Believe it, March 31st. And the reason why I remember that, she's doing two of my acts. She's doing Shauna, I Want You, and Raquel, along with Sapphire.
Oh, nice.
And I know there's somebody else on it. I don't have the flyer. I'm sorry. But I know Shauna, Raquel, Sapphire in Los Angeles. You guys can hit her up for more information. I also have a show the next day, June 1st in Sacramento. No, San Diego. I got the cover girls, Trinier, Betty D, Sweet Sensation,
Nice.
the Jets,
Nice.
off the top of my head. That's the only reason I remember the first, because D Marie's shows the day before. So
Nice.
yeah, that's gonna be a great show. Anybody that's in the LA area, definitely go there. And then the next day, come over to San Diego. It's not far. Come hang out with us.
Are you going to Vegas anytime soon? My sister's waiting for you to go to Vegas.
Yeah, I got called for a smaller show, but they're Alan Beck. I do Vegas with Alan Beck, and the date that he gave me, I couldn't do. I forgot what the case was. I forgot what the date was, but I couldn't do it. There was two shows. I love doing Alan Beck shows. It was a Freestyle Explosion, so it kind of sucks when I have to turn them down, and it's only because I got another show.
Right.
And it's always,
right.
cover girls or Little Susie, or usually both,
Right.
So I had to pass on it. But yeah, that was Vegas. And I was upset because we don't do Vegas that much. So,
I know, I
you know,
know. Oh, here.
that's why I usually
this
tell
is
them, tell me
amazing.
ahead, even if it's a year ahead, so I can block
Fiesta.
that date.
Los Angeles, May 31st. Thank you, Latif, for your professionalism. Raquel, Shanna, Sapphire, Christina Marie.
Christina Marie, that was the one. Thank you.
Christina
What's
Marie.
that, Christina?
Where,
I know
where's
Christina.
Marie from? Is she here in
She's
Florida?
no, she's in LA.
Los Angeles.
LA.
Okay.
See, LA. She's doing the show May 31st.
Yeah, she moves around a lot. She hops around a bit.
That's
But
cool. That's
she's
cool.
a hustler. She's really good at what she does.
I got
She
another
gets it
friend on the
done.
West Coast. I got another friend on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Marcela Olivad.
For salsa, right?
I know
No,
Marcela.
She does freestyle. She does freestyle
That's
too.
Trinier, a couple other artists up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So that's cool. So I just want to go back because we were looking at the book. So we looked at this one, and I want to go back to just the other ones. So you got this freestyle promotion, simple steps for getting started. I think that's the same one, just a different view. Then we got Freestyle Blast 22 and 23, the yearbook.
Nice.
So what those books are there is on the 15th of every month, I put a newsletter out. Right before Christmas, right? Yeah. When we hit December 3rd, yeah, right before Christmas, when I put out the final newsletter for the year, which will be December 15th, I take them all, I compile them into a book form. I go in and I edit them so we don't have all this repeat stuff, and I turn it into a book and I publish it.
That's
so
cool.
Yeah, so the yearbook 2022 is all 12 issues of 2022 Freestyle Blast, and then the yearbook, of course, 2023. That one I have a whole chapter dedicated to Priscilla's freestyle cruise, which is kind of dope. Yeah, so we get a chance because what was happening is since the newsletters are digital, it's like, okay, people read them and then what? That's it. No more. I do a lot of writing and create. All of a sudden they disappear. I'm like, no, I can't do that. I need to somehow create something in tangible form. So we have it. It's a collector's item. They're very premium when I get those done. So they cost me a lot to make. So they're expensive. They're like, I don't know, $32. But I swear my profit is like nothing. Because it's not, for those, it's not about the profit for me. I just really want to get it out there. And I do color pages and all that, which anybody who publishes books knows that once you do glossy color, it gets expensive. But I said, okay, that's how I want those to be remembered. So I'm hoping that every year I could do them. It's a lot of work, but so far so good.
Oh, that's great.
And I keep it pretty basic.
Okay, and then you got Yes, y'all. You got this one. I guess it's a series. Book 1, book 2, and book 3. So
that's what I did. Besides TikToks, I wrote those 3 books during the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
So I had the story in my head for a long time. And just a quick, growing up in the Bronx, in Queens, Puerto Rican, I wanted to be a rapper. Okay. I used to go on auditions. I used to jump the turnstile because I didn't have the money, go into the city. And I used to try to go to auditions. I used to go meet up with producers. I used to go to labels. I was a pain in the ass. I used to go to these places with my book of raps, with tapes. And people loved my stuff. They didn't want me. This was before Fat Joe was around, before Puerto Rican light-skinned rappers were any kind of, was a thing. And they used to tell me, I love your stuff, but you don't got the look. I was like, what look you talking about? I got my Kango because I used to wear Kangos and so I wanted to tell that story of a guy who wanted to be a rapper, Puerto Rican, who went out there and tried to hustle. And then finally he finds someone who's gonna do something for him. So the entire first book. So what happened was when I wrote the story, right? So my books are normally around 100,000 words. That's my books, right? It's about 300 pages, 297, right? For a 6x9 book like that. This story, I got so into this story that when I finished, I had 320,000 words.
Wow.
So it was like this. And I swear to God, I was going to create one book, almost like a war and peace, where it's really big. I told Angel, I said, man, I think I'm going to try to get this published. So it's just like a really cool book, like this big book. And she was like, oh man, people are not going to walk around. Nobody's going to, she made a lot of sense. So she says, why don't you break it into 3 books? That was her idea. I said, I didn't know how to do it. So I had to go from the beginning and read the book and find where I was going to break it. So I would read the book. So, basically you can't really buy book 3 and not know what happened in book 1. It's not one of those, right? You're going to get lost, right? Even though you probably could, because it starts from that point. But so I found where those spots were. I cleaned them up. I made good endings, and I did them like that, and I turned them into 3 books. So, and they're thick books, all 3 of them.
Yeah.
All 3 of like over 100,000 words or 100,000 words.
Incredible.
And I put that together, and I love that story. That story is it's really a great story.
Well, I wonder where do you find the time to do it?
Well, he said
You know what? I get up really early.
The pandemic.
The pandemic. Oh.
Yeah, but I get up really early. I'm at my desk by 6 a.m.
Oh,
Okay, and I type really fast when nobody's bothering me. So sometimes my wife walks into the office when I'm like in a daze because I could type really fast. But if you stand there and say, "Let me see how fast you type," I'll be like, I can't do it.
I know what you
That's how
mean.
it is.
Yeah, but if nobody's there, and because I don't put. People say, "Oh, so do you listen to music?" I'm like, "Yeah." They say, "Do you listen to freestyle music?" Why? I said, "Hell no, I can't hear words." So I'll put like lo-fi, which is all instrumental, soft music.
Right.
And then I lower my lights. I mean, I create my own little atmosphere.
Right.
So when you come in here, you swear you're waiting for the incense, and I'm just, and I'm in a
get in
groove.
your vibe. You got to
Yeah.
get in your groove, and when you're creative, you have to be in a certain zone.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of times I'll I have the computer set up. I'll start getting creative, working on the magazine and working on this and working on doing creative stuff. And if I get interrupted, it just messes me up. Like I need that alone time.
My house has always got, it's my kids, my grandkids, and we got 4 grandkids. 1 lives here. We have 2 here now, but they know the rules. They don't come in here. They don't come in here. They know when to come in here, when not to come in here.
I already told Alida the new garage is going to be the half podcast studio, and it's going to be half recording studio for me.
There you go.
And I'm going to put a red light bulb on the other side.
So
So when I'm in the
recording,
studio, I'm going to turn on the red light and do not enter.
You can actually get they have the signs, which I thought where it says, in session.
Yeah.
Oh,
On
on
air.
air.
We have to put
On air.
there
That's
and
it.
my aunt, because they, like I heard them before at the door, like they wanted to come in here, and I'm like, oh, I hope they open the
I
door.
hope they don't come in, but
Because they forget, unfortunately. So I have to put a big sign on this, like "Do not disturb" in session or whatever. They'll be like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
we're already on the hour and a half already on the show.
I know. Well, I found this Cover Girls performance show at the Aquarius reunion. What's that one about?
We did that show about 2 years ago.
Oh yeah.
So that's in Boston, somewhere in Boston. Really, really cool. It's like it's a semi-private, like it's private.
Right.
It's like their own organization. So the Aquarius was, I'm trying to remember what they told me. The Aquarius Club was a club out there in the 80s. So it's almost like a reunion. So everybody that's used to attend that club, the guy who used to DJ and the guy who used to promote the club back in those days, he now does these big reunion get-togethers, and they get packed, and the people were really, really nice. A much older crowd though. Much older crowd, because they were like really into like disco, but man, they loved the show.
The Boca Show had some older crowd out there.
That was straight up old school. That's why that was the Tramps, Blue Notes, Franjo Lee, Evelyn Champagne King. It was a great show though.
Sugar Hill gang.
Sugar Hill, those are my peoples.
Yeah, it was great to see them because it brought me back, and I loved the old Franjo Lee. I love and Evelyn Champagne King.
We actually hung out with Franjo Lloyd. Me and Angel went to her room with the guy who brought us down, and
nice.
we hung out with her that night in the room for a couple hours, just talking. And I met friends a couple of times, but this was the first time I really got to know her, and she got to know me. It was really cool. Really, really great people. Yeah, we're doing Jungle Island with her, with Charlie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we'll get to see her again. Yeah, nice people.
To that one.
Well, I gotta be down there to the Jungle Island. Gotta go down to Miami
It's
again.
not. It's not gonna be an hour now. It's gonna be like 4 hours. Almost.
4 hours to get to Miami now from here, but it's all right.
Wow.
We'll have to
It's
stay
okay.
down there. No, well, I'll have to stay somewhere down there. I'm not doing that
Oh,
drive.
we got the Boca thing.
Yeah.
We got the Boca apartment. We got another apartment in Boca, so we'll stay up there. Go to Miami, come back up.
There you go.
So let's see the cover girls in this private event. I thought it was cool, so I thought I would put it on there because it really shows them.
I don't even know if I've seen this.
Oh, let's check it out. Let me.
Say that you really love me. I know it's on your mind. You say I should be your lover, and we should spend some time. But I'm not persuaded that quickly. My heart has been broken before you see. So if you want to be my lover, you have to prove your love to me. 'Cause it's easy to tell me you love me, easy to say don't think you love me. Words are so easy to say. Show me you really love me. Actions speak louder than words. Show me you really need me. All those lies I've already heard. Show me you really love me. Make me believe that it's true. Show me you really need me. I'll get together with you. All right, y'all. Second verse. I want to hear y'all sing with me. You gonna sing with me? Come on. You say that there is no other. I am the only one. And you say that if we were lovers, we would have so much fun. My love don't warn me that I should beware of your voice. Because it's so I must be sure that you actually my love you won't take it.
They're always looking. I'm telling you, Angel kills it. The girls kill it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, we have
I
fun.
mean,
We we love doing it. I mean, it's a it's an honor for me, you know. Here's a group that I never even seen live before I started working with them. I've never seen them. I never went to a cover. The first time I ever laid eyes on my wife, I was sitting in the day room of the penitentiary. The first time I ever seen her was on a video on the TV while I was in the day room.
wow.
Crazy,
That's
right?
surreal.
So when she
That's
was at the top of the top, I was at the bottom of the bottom.
Wow.
And somehow, some way, we connected. We met in the
Hey,
middle.
You're
You know what?
you're how do you call it, an example, like many others out there that have gone through things like that in your life, and you
Yeah.
hit rock bottom, and guess what? You pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, and you
Yeah.
keep going forward, and you have the strength to
Yeah.
within you to just be a better person.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and honestly, no regrets. I don't regret anything that I went through. I really do. I think it builds character. I could look back and connect dots and see that, look at things that I went through and say, "Hey, wow, had I not been through that, I would not have been like this." There's certain things I appreciate that other people don't appreciate because of what I went through. You know,
Yeah.
and also helps me. I have children. I have kids. I have a 33-year-old son, and I have a daughter who's in Germany in the army. She comes home in June after
Nice.
serving 6 years. And then 4 grandchildren. that, you know, I'm always in their ear, you know. So I think a lot of the stuff that I went through, I'm able to share with them because I don't hide anything from any of them. They know my past. You know, I try to keep it as PG as I possibly can, but
Right.
sometimes you can't. Sometimes you got to be a little raw. Angel looks at me like, because I don't believe you just told her that. I'm like,
Tough, tough
somebody
love
got to tell her.
sometimes you gotta have
Well,
tough
you gotta
love.
tell the truth. You gotta tell the truth. I mean, I talk to my kids now that they're older and say, hey, you know, mom wasn't perfect. I went through my struggles too. And, you know, X, Y, and Z happened and whatever. And, you know, it's nothing against my love for you as a mother. You know, unfortunately
Right.
we're people. We're normal
Yeah.
people like everybody else, and we have to go through our own stuff and our
Yeah,
own learning.
listen, I have a 12-year-old granddaughter that we raised that's just went into junior high school. We've had her since she was a baby. So, and she's beautiful. So, you know, now it's the boys situation, then it's the jealousy on the girls situation. So it's every day that we're sitting down and telling her how to handle certain things. And she's good because she does what we tell her. She's listening to both me and
That's
Angel.
good.
That's
That's
You know?
great. That's great. That's really good that you do that because children
Yeah.
nowadays, I think children always need guidance.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the parents or the grandparents are not involved, and that's when they get the issues start.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you
They
know,
start learning stuff from the street, and that's when you gotta intervene and say, wait.
but see the
Yeah.
difference. I have to say this: when we were raised, when we were young kids, we had a big family, right? So our family was very strict. They taught us lessons on how to treat people and how to, you know, take care of ourselves, and we had those morals from home. So even though we grew up in New York City, okay, back in the 80s, that you know, we can go out, do whatever we wanted, but we always had that fundamental understanding. What did grandma teach you?
Right,
Should you be doing this?
Right, we
What
wouldn't-
we
would
wouldn't
grandma
cross-
say if she saw you right now? You know, that kind of thing.
we wouldn't cross the line. We would think about
Right.
it 2, 3 times
Right,
before.
exactly.
Because you know you were gonna get it when you get it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be late home. Oh my god, how am I? And then you
And
couldn't
now
get-
with the internet, you know, they're seeing stuff that we didn't really
Oh.
see. So, you know,
Right.
you have to be ready. And we don't, you know, I mean, people could look at it certain ways. I don't block stuff, you know, but I want to talk about it. Sometimes, you know, it's sometimes hard. It's extremely embarrassing for me. But I'm like, man, if I don't tell her, somebody else is going to tell her.
A different way.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
There's some weird stuff on the internet
Yeah.
that I've
In a
come
different
across just by accident.
There's no getting around it. Anything you try to hide from these
They're gonna
kids,
find out.
they're going
They're
to
gonna
find
find
it
out.
somehow. So you might as well let them see it and then have the ability to explain it to them. But sometimes I'll watch a movie and it's crazy and I'll pause it. I'll look at her and we'll talk about it. You
That's
know?
good. See, that's good. That's really
Yeah,
good.
and we'll talk about because I know I'm going to forget. And I say, I got to bring this up. I got to bring this up. You know?
Exactly. No, that's good. That's very good.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
this has been awesome. This conversation we've had, we've touched so many different things. Your life, things I didn't know.
You think we made up for it?
Yeah, we made up for yesterday's all messed up.
Yeah. It's all right. I wasn't worried about technology. I knew you guys were going to get it together. It was
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
We
Plus
should
my
have told
computer,
you
I
that
was having
later.
issues. Yeah.
Anyway, we feel very proud. You know, this is our 5th episode. You know, we
On
already
the
had
freestyle
Angel.
side, yeah.
On the freestyle show, we had David Torres.
Johnny O.
We had Johnny O. We had Susan and Company B.
Right.
Now we have you and
You had Angel.
Awesome.
You had Angel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Angel
that,
was
she
the
was
first
she
one.
was she was the icebreaker.
Oh, was she
Right.
the first one? I didn't know that.
Well,
was
for
the
this
first
for
show.
this freestyle show, we did,
Oh, okay.
we interviewed the first freestyle artist we did was Giggles and Charlie Rock were on the show.
That was when we was with the company, when we were with Spanglish Cafe.
The
we
Spanglish,
mixed,
right.
We were trying to mix it in, but then we realized that we
Right.
had to
So
separate the
I was
stuff.
saying this yesterday, in case you didn't hear it yesterday. What I was saying is we started out as Spanglish Cafe music podcast, and then what happened was we're doing a lot of salsa artists, and then Jecee and I talked about it. We said, wait a second, we love freestyle. And I said to him, you're making me so happy. I need freestyle, you know, because I get lost sometimes with the salsa because even though I know the music, I wasn't a salsera, you know, like
Right,
Kevin.
right.
Like
Yeah.
he'll name people. I go, who the heck is that?
Yeah.
Sometimes we're on the show and I'm like, you talk because I have no idea what's going on. Like I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, I know salsa for over 50 years.
Right.
So,
Wow.
His whole life.
even
so,
though freestyle wasn't, I mean, I can't let freestyle out because like I said, it was the best of both worlds. for
Right.
me. I did. Out of high school, I did gymnastics. So what do you think I did first?
Breakdancing,
I
yeah.
started breakdancing in the streets in New York City. You know, and I met a whole bunch of groups. Then into that, I was at the same time I listened to salsa. So we used to go to Copa. We used to go to Emerald City for the freestyle. We used to go to Copa for the salsa. So I was on both. You know, I
Yeah.
used to share. I used to share the.
See, what happened is I was in Flushing, so I wasn't in the Bronx. My mother moved me to Flushing when I went to high school out there and everything like that. So the people I hung out with completely different, you know, different genre of people.
Well,
so
that's
I went to rock. I'm a rocker.
let me correct you
know.
on that. See,
What?
it was all over New York. It
Yeah,
was
I know
all
it
in the
was.
5 boroughs. It's like you said. It depends the people that you were hanging out with.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
everywhere I went in
No,
the
there was
5 boroughs.
Of course, I didn't. I'm not saying the music wasn't around. Just the people that I was hanging out with.
Hey, a lot of the freestylers, man, put out some really nice Spanish stuff. You know,
Oh, yeah,
Brenda
I know.
still travels all over, man, performing her Latin stuff. You know, with the band, without the band, whatever.
I love it.
Yeah.
Lizette did some Spanish stuff. Who else did Spanish?
Well,
Angel, you know,
Angel.
did the stuff.
Angel,
Angel
yeah.
did Spanish stuff. George,
Yeah.
you know,
We saw
you know,
George the
so
other day, yeah, too.
it's really close, but it is 2 different markets.
Right, exactly.
You
It is
gotta
two different
treat it.
markets.
You gotta treat it that way because you
That's
can get
why we separated it. Yeah.
right. You can get
That's what I'm
freestyle people that like salsa, but it's hard. You won't always get the salsa people
way.
that like freestyle.
That's correct.
Some.
like
Exactly.
let's say, for
Some.
example, let's say we get Brenda someday. So see, I can have Brenda actually do Spanglish Cafe on Wednesdays,
And
and
Thursday,
the next day she
freestyle,
should cover her
because she
freestyle
got both
side.
sides.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's
I
good.
don't think Brenda's gonna do it twice for you. I'm sorry. You better figure out how to
she will
get
not,
together.
but I'll figure
I got you,
out-
Brenda.
I would like the salsa better though.
We'll do it in the salsa.
I would-
Yeah,
I
because
would
she's
like on the
promoting her
salsa.
salsa anyway. I
Yeah,
know
she's
she was
bad,
down
man.
Here. Yeah.
She's
I would
bad.
like on the salsa show.
Yeah, she's bad. Yep.
So, so we want to thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
patience, and thank you for being on the show. And
It was fun.
just talking about, you know, things going on in the music industry, and we keep supporting freestyle and
Keep on.
and all the other artists. So we'll keep talking and
Yep.
you know, promoting your shows, and follow Angel to see where she's going next. And
Well, you know, we'll be in Boston next weekend. Sold out show. So that's gonna be nice. That's
nice.
yeah, sold out show.
Boston's a good crowd up there.
So
Up
please,
Great car.
I just want to say,
What?
please, for anybody that haven't seen the other shows, you can go on Nuestro Magazine on
On the
YouTube,
podcast.
and you can see all the shows. You can see
Right.
the Spanglish Cafe. You can see the Freestyle Showcase, and some
Right.
of her
If you go to Nuestra
episodes.
Magazine, there's a section that says podcast. So you go to the podcast and you'll see them there. So I have it
Okay.
listed there now because YouTube now is changing it. Like Google doesn't have podcasts, is going away. It's all going to YouTube Music or something. They
Yeah.
keep changing stuff on the platforms, and
Yeah.
so
So we're basically new, but we're trying to build up the brand and get.
No, you're
good
doing
artists on the
good.
show,
Yeah,
you
you're
know,
doing.
So
thank you,
just
thank
be
you.
a little, you know, for whoever's out there right now, be patient with us. We're trying to bring you the best.
Just keep putting them
product
out.
we can.
Just
Yeah,
keep
that's
putting them
what
out
we're
and,
doing.
and have a good time and you know enjoy and so
Yeah.
you know listen, it's pleasant when it's not glitching and we can hear each other.
Exactly, exactly. I know, it was so funny how
I'm glad my voice hung in there. My voice, I thought I was gonna lose
Good,
it.
You did good.
Yeah,
You did
no,
good.
you're doing good. You're good. So anyway,
So-
well, thank you. We're gonna just sign
Thank you,
out
guys.
and thank you, and we'll talk soon. All right.
Absolutely.
Take
Peace.
care,
Bye,
my
guys.
brother.
Take care. Thank you, everybody.
All right.